Wow, this promo really does. This promo just does solve everything, does it?
Yeah, it does. Hey everyone, this is Curb and I bring you another standard match. Today, once again, we're going to be taking a look at Messiah. I did do the deck profile on the channel quite a bit ago, but this is just going to be a quick friendly game up against Rezael. Of course, we do have my deck tester, Orion, on the right. He is going to be playing, of course, my Messiah list. He is the other enthusiastic Messiah player, so he does tend to enjoy playing my Messiah lists. Definitely because he wants to, and not because I'm forcing him to, like, half the time. But anyways, we do see Messiah going second, which is, you know, exactly where you want to be if you are playing a Stride deck set. Just going to be swinging at the Vanguard, not getting anything off the top. Unfortunately, we did drive check the Alter Ego Messiah, and as you know, if you see my deck profile, there is just one copy in the deck, so it's kind of unfortunate that we kind of just lost it there. Calling a booster behind the Vanguard going to kind of just ensure that damage. Hitting to a heal trigger, so another card wasted. That heal trigger just going to be going to waste. So we've got that grade 2 turn coming up. We could theoretically do some things, if you like, sometimes you want to call Klein. It looks like we're going to be discarding an Arrestor, which normally would be a huge warning sign. But remember that the promo does kind of just fix everything. So we're going to be calling that Klein, getting a little deck thinning going on. Hitting into a critical trigger, which is pretty nice, and giving that extra power to the Klein. Unfortunately, we do hit into a heal trigger there, so that is only going to be 1 damage going through. And then 20k at this 20k Vanguard is going to be meaning that we only need a 5k guard. Otherwise, we're going to have to take it. But it looks like we are going to opt to take it, which is definitely not a bad play, considering that, you know, it is Rezael. Rezael does need a certain degree of damage. Like, when you're going to grade 3, you kind of want to be at least at 2, so you can kind of still call 2 things, like a grade 2 and a grade 0 at least. But, you know, it's not the end of the world. Anyways, that Klein looks like it's just going to be getting a Destiny Dealer, which is definitely not your ideal target there. But it is a booster for the Vanguard. Personally, you probably would have preferred to have it, like, 2 turns ago. But, you know, bodies on board are still bodies on board. I mean, most of the time, they're just going to be PGing your Vanguard. So it doesn't really matter that much. Anyways, going back to Rezael, we do still see the Wisdom being played here in order to, you know, Counterblast 1, draw the 2 cards, and then, of course, we do just call the 2 cards. But we still do have a pretty good setup here. We've got that grade 3, which is not quite yet at, you know, full power, just because we haven't called anything yet. But thankfully, we do have that counter charger, so we should be able to do things. We did play an order this turn, so that Cellgown is going to be pretty live. We're also going to be using the Nobia skill there in order to Soul Blast 1 and then just, you know, get an extra 10k. So that's a pretty powerful 33 there. Not really worth guarding because it's just 2-card guard, so we're just going to take it. But we do hit into a very nice defensive trigger there that is going to be very good, obviously. As we do swing the Vanguard here, going to have to use the skill to countercharge 1, and then, of course, to use the Rezael skill to counterblast 1, and then call 2 things from the drop zone. Looks like we're going to be seeing a very classic dog spam here, calling the grade 0 in front of it, just so we can use the skill again. Guarding with that front trigger for a, what was that, 40, so it would have been a 2 to pass. But this other column, just 19, that's not actually going to be able to hit, but, you know, we can still use our Cellgown, which is, you know, the biggest issue with Rezael, at least facing against it, is that just it just can continuously use Cellgown over and over and over again and just get a whole bunch of free advantage. So we are going to be seeing the 28k there. Do remember, I did talk to someone with this about at locals, that grade 3 doesn't actually need to be called off of Rezael's skill. It just needs to see something called off of Rezael's skill. So even though it wasn't called, it still does get its plus 15k, which is kind of insane to think about, but at the same time, it is a grade 3, so that kind of just does balance it. Anyways, we are going to be discarding the Prelude to Genesis in order to reduce the heart cards, I believe. Skill by Counterblast 1. We're going to be using the Awakening Messiah there, and then, of course, not Counterblasting 1 in order to lock it, and then, of course, lock that grade 3. So just going to get rid of it off board. Just getting rid of a really annoying rear guard there. So you got a pretty good, you know, next turn. Anyways, we are going to be seeing another Prelude of Genesis being used here, the third copy, to call back the Arrestor Messiah, locking that counter charger, so getting those 2 locks, and then calling a Klein. So we've got a very nice board here, swinging the Klein for an easy 15, going to be taking a 15k block there, checking the top 3 off the Klein, and looks like we're going to be getting a card to the front row, and it is going to be an Arrestor Messiah there, so a very good hit off of the Klein there, swinging for another 15 here, with the Arrestor Messiah, just going to be blocking that, I believe, and then swinging with the Amnesty Messiah, unlocking all 3 units, and then, of course, that is just going to, give an extra 15k power. We see a front trigger being flipped here, and a critical trigger, so double triggers mean that these last couple of attacks are going to be absolutely massive. I mean, that Arrestor Messiah is sitting at 20 plus 15, that's 35, plus the front trigger is 45, and looks like, yeah, we're giving the extra critical trigger there, giving the power to it as well, but unfortunately we saw a defensive OT being hit there, so even though we were able to ping 2 damage, only 1 is going to go through, and this last attack is going to be able to do nothing other than like take out that grade 0 rearguard, which is very unfortunate, but at the same time, it is what it is. Unlocking 3 cards. Unfortunately, we only have 3 cards in Soul, so we're only going to Soul Blast 3, draw 3 cards. So Rezael going into this turn with that Persona Ride, and we did lose quite a few units there. But looks like we're actually going to go for the Order again, so we must have access to another counter charger, otherwise that would be a really bad play. As we are going to be calling, like I said, the counter charger there, as well as a Tayfault. So going to be using that Tayfault skill, Soul Blasting the 1, and then calling out a Spiral Cutie, which we can't unfortunately use the skill here, just because we're kind of out of Counter Blast, which is, I would say, kind of a problem for Rezael. Like, Rezael does sometimes use a lot of Counter Blast, but the fact that they have a built-in counter charger is kind of just, it kind of makes it like okay to use your counter blast and things. Anyways, we're going to be proccing the Divine skill, putting 3 critical triggers back into the deck, just going to allow us to, get access to that 6 damage heal on anything for the rest of the game. So that is definitely going to be an annoying thorn in, the side of the Messiah player. But we're swinging 33, very annoying number, but as you see, we do have a lot of cards in hand. Honestly, I think we can probably just take this first one, bet on a defensive. If we hit that defensive, it does shut down a lot of the attacks and makes them that much easier to guard. And in any case, we are going to be needing, that 2 CB, unless we drew into the, Sacrifice Messiah, we are going to need at least 2, but if we do have the Sacrifice, then we're really realistically only going to be needing, 1 CB, but we do need to take something, and personally, I think I would probably just take this one, just because it makes everything else that much easier to guard. Let's see, what are these other numbers? We've got the, oh, looks like we're Nugi. Oh, it's because that attack was going for the Arrestor, which definitely makes a bit of sense. That is a super good unit, and you've already seen 2 Preludes out, but, there is still the chance that they have another one in hand. Not to mention that, you could also just go for the Exilix next turn, which is typically what you want to do with Messiah. You want to go Amnesty, and then you want to go Exilix to finish them off, or at least, like, destroy and eviscerate their hand. But we do see the Biscotti being used here, calling it from the drop zone off the Rezael skill, as well as that Cell Gown. Going to be checking the top 3 cards of the deck. 1 goes to the top, the rest go to the bottom of the deck. Just going to be no guarding this Vanguard swing, getting a critical trigger that we stacked off of the Biscotti's skill there. Going to be giving crit to the Vanguard and the extra power to the Tayfault. And then we see another trigger here being that draw trigger. Got to decide where we want to put that power, because there is going to be a third check over here, giving it once again to the Tayfault, and then the third check is just going to be a Persona Ride. So we're going to take 2 damage here, unfortunately not hitting into a single defensive, and we've still got some pretty decently sized swings here. We got this 33, which I think you kind of do have to guard, because that Tayfault is swinging for 50, so definitely very dangerous. So we're going to commit the 2 cards there, the 2 triggers, the 30, and guarding super extra low, but looks like we're going to take that back. Just going to be guarding with the 5k there, the Energy Cycler, as well as the front trigger, which is definitely a very good play. You always want to look for those little opportunities for you to actually use the Energy Cyclers when they're most efficient. But this last swing going to be for 50. I think you either just PG this. Oh, looks like it is going to be actually taking out the rear guard, in which case that is not... Yeah, that is just 50. It would have been 60 if it attacked the Vanguard, accounting for its extra 10k. But we're going to go ahead and stride into that Exilix, locking down the Tayfault there. And then hopefully we have like at least another locker. Like if we have another arrestor here, that'd be pretty big. Looks like we're gonna go for a Makani, which is definitely something you would have preferred to have last turn. Just gonna go ahead and slide it into Soul. Maybe that wasn't like super necessary. Like Makani is really good in the early game, and if you don't have a better booster, he can definitely serve that job. Especially if you're banking on trying to kill this turn. You know, you might want to keep that Makani as a booster. But it looks like we're going to be activating the second copy of Destiny Dealer, the only other copy of Destiny Dealer. I do, as I said, only play one copy of Alter Ego. So we're just going to be searching the deck kind of to shuffle. We probably bot decked a lot of like good pieces with the Klein. So just having the Destiny Dealer there to allow you to shuffle is going to be like just something that kind of the deck needs. Like the deck needs to be able to shuffle more. And looks like we do have access to the Stride Fodder Dragon, so we're going to still charge another one and get another 10k. Definitely like your ideal restand target. And looks like we do have the Arrestor here, so that's going to be also pretty big here. So we've got the full 4-attack or 5-attack combo here, with everything being super massive. Of course, we still do have the 1 CP. Honestly, yeah, maybe we should have just kept the Makani, because then we would have made just better numbers, especially since we're not going to be doing anything. And you could have restood the Makani anyway. So this first swing, going to be swinging for that 33. Going to be guarding with... we made a little bit of a misplay there. I think we guarded for 33, but we're going to guard with the draw trigger instead. Swinging this Arrestor Messiah, much more threatening at the 25 on the second stride. It's going to be swinging the Exilix for 61. Not sure we took that. Oh, I think we took that Arrestor instead of guarding it. So we're going to be swinging in, unlocking 2 cards, restanding both the Destiny Dealer and the Stride Fodder Dragon there, which is why I think you should have probably just left the Makani there. Like, the Soul is cool, but you're planning to kill this turn. But looks like there isn't going to be a PG, so we're just going to be eating this Exilix attack. I mean, we do have a 6 damage heal, but unfortunately, it is not going to be happening there. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Don't forget to do those 2 things, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.